The midday sun beat down on the bustling streets of Lahore, a symphony of honking rickshaws, chattering vendors, and the melodic calls of street hawkers filling the air. Amidst this vibrant chaos, sat old Karim, his weathered face etched with the stories of 1,000 untold conversations. He wasn't a fortune-teller or a soothsayer, but a keen observer, a decoder of the silent signals that people unknowingly broadcast. For decades, Karim had sat by the ancient banyan tree in the heart of the Anarkali Bazaar, his small stall adorned with an eclectic collection of antique trinkets and forgotten photographs. People came to him not for the wares he offered, but for his uncanny ability to understand what lay beneath their spoken words. He could sense the unspoken anxieties in a nervous fidget, the hidden joy in a fleeting smile, the simmering resentment in a tightly clenched fist. Young Fatima, her eyes downcast and her shoulders slumped, approached Karim's stall one sweltering afternoon. She picked up a tarnished silver locket, her fingers tracing its intricate carvings. Karim watched her silently, noticing the slight tremor in her hands and the faint redness around her eyes. "It's beautiful," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. Karim nodded gently. "It holds a story, like all old things do." Fatima sighed. "I wish I knew its story. Or perhaps, I wish someone understood mine." Karim's gaze softened. He didn't press her for details, knowing that the silent signals were already speaking volumes. He saw the weight of unspoken disappointment, the yearning for understanding. "Sometimes," Karim said, his voice calm and reassuring, "the most important stories are the ones we don't speak aloud. They are written in the way we carry ourselves, in the flicker of our eyes, in the silences between our words." Fatima looked up, a flicker of curiosity in her tear-filled eyes. "How can you read those stories?" she asked. Karim smiled faintly. "It is not magic, child. It is simply paying attention. The world is constantly speaking to us, if only we learn to listen with more than our ears." He then recounted a story from his own past. He spoke of a young merchant who frequented the bazaar, always boisterous and full of laughter. But Karim had noticed the subtle signs, the forced brightness in his eyes, the way his hand would instinctively clutch his pocket, the almost imperceptible hesitation before making a purchase. These silent signals spoke of a hidden financial struggle, a fear of losing face among his peers. Karim, without uttering a word about his observations, began to offer the merchant small discounts and favorable terms, easing his burden until his fortunes turned. The merchant, never knowing the depth of Karim's understanding, simply believed in his good luck and kindness. Fatima listened intently, a sense of wonder dawning in her eyes. She realized that she too often focused only on the spoken words, missing the richer, more nuanced conversations happening beneath the surface. Over the following weeks, Fatima became a regular visitor to Karim's stall. She didn't always speak of her troubles, but she would watch him interact with others, observing how he deciphered their silent signals. He taught her to notice the subtle shift in a person's posture when they felt defensive, the slight tightening of the lips when they were holding back anger, the almost imperceptible widening of the eyes when they felt genuine joy. Slowly, Fatima began to apply these lessons in her own life. She started paying closer attention to her family, her friends, even the strangers she encountered in the bustling city. She noticed the weariness in her mother's smile despite her cheerful words, the underlying insecurity in her brother's boastful claims, the unspoken kindness in the eyes of a street vendor who always gave her an extra piece of fruit. As Fatima learned to decode these silent signals, her relationships deepened. She began to understand the unspoken needs and emotions of those around her, allowing her to respond with more empathy and compassion. She learned that true communication wasn't just about the words spoken, but about the connection forged through understanding the unspoken. One day, Fatima approached Karim with a radiant smile. "I understand now," she said. "The world is full of conversations happening without a single word being spoken." Karim nodded, his eyes twinkling. "Indeed, child. And those are often the most truthful conversations of all." Fatima continued to hone her ability to read the silent signals, and it transformed her life. She became a more understanding daughter, a more supportive friend, and a more compassionate member of her community. She learned that by truly seeing and listening to others, beyond their spoken words, she could build stronger connections and navigate the complexities of human relationships with greater wisdom and empathy. And she carried with her the invaluable lesson that in the bustling chaos of life, the most profound truths are often whispered in the silence. Moral of the story: true understanding and meaningful connections are often found in recognizing and interpreting the unspoken cues and emotions of others. Learning to listen beyond words fosters empathy, strengthens relationships, and allows us to navigate the world with greater compassion.